This is 5 Minute Feng Shui Podcast, episode 138, Your Body's Feng Shui, What Your Health Says About Your Life. Welcome to the 5 Minute Feng Shui Podcast, where each week I talk about how to move energy and make money. You'll learn how to create a prosperous home and an abundant life using classical Chinese Feng Shui. I'm your host, Katie Weber, publisher of the Red Lotus Letter, Feng Shui Easing for Wealth. Each week, I'll cover Feng Shui topics that can help you improve your life, share inspiring stories, and always end with 3 easy-to-implement Feng Shui tips that you can put to work right away, and usually in about 5 minutes. Now let's get started on the 5 minutes that could change your life. Hello there, my Feng Shui friend. It is a Tuesday afternoon, and we have had rain all day, and it's been a great day to be inside. This is my publishing day. This is the day I work on my newsletter, I write an article, I am publishing for the July Flying Star Energies, the July horoscope, so I've all kinds of publishing, fingers are flying, and it's a great day, and I get to talk to you. And I am at the end of the day saving the best for last because I love to talk to you. And it's always an exciting part of my day when I get to have this conversation because that's how I look at it, is that we're conversing. And like good friends, I want to talk with you about your body's feng shui. This is a topic that I find just absolutely fascinating. And it's something that I've seen in client consultations where there is some health concern or there is, some type of malady. And it's amazing how your home and your body are kind of mirrors for one another. It's very interesting. And then again, your body is a mirror for your life. And it's not such a stretch to the imagination to imagine that. But, of course, we sometimes have things that happen to us that, like cancer or something that just kind of comes out of the blue. And I don't always believe that is going to be reflected necessarily in your home. But sometimes it is. I can see it. It's really interesting. But, so don't feel like, it's everything has to do with your feng shui. Sometimes we just, we get sick. That's just how it happens. But let's talk about some of those cases where there is a little symbolism going on, that there is something showing up in our health and in our lives that's being reflected in our health. It's our body's way of showing us something that's going on. This is what I love about feng shui because it's a great tool for understanding about your home and your office environment and what it's saying about your business success, your family, your health, your relationship happiness. I love that feng shui has this fascinating component that you can look at various aspects of your life through this lens, and including your physical body. And that each corner of our home has a corresponding body part. And I really like how your body has a way of talking to you in feng shui terms the same way that your home does. So for instance, a lot of times we can take before we take a big step in our life, especially a step that requires our faith and our courage. Have you ever noticed that you get sick? Like something really good is happening, or, you're firing on all cylinders and life is going great and suddenly you get sick. Illness isn't always a sign that something's wrong in my mind. Instead, sometimes it's a sign of our growth. It's our body's way sometimes of pulling in and helping marshal all of its energy before taking on this big endeavor. In other words, we often break down before we break through. And I find that's a fascinating aspect about our bodies and how it benefits us to look at the symbolism. So start paying attention to when your body breaks down. It's often before you make a big step, especially a step that is purely for yourself, like writing a novel, beginning an important course, maybe getting married, or even moving. There are other signs that your body can make that relate to areas of your life where you might be trying to grow, or where you're trying to take steps to see growth in your life. So let's talk about how to decipher your body's unique feng shui code and what it's trying to tell you. Now, the first thing that comes up is where we start on the Bagua in Feng Shui, and that's always the north. And the north is the corner of income, business, career opportunities, how we get ahead, make money, right? And this is all about your job and how you earn a living, and its body part is related to the ears. Now, the north corner is related to water, and the emotional element of water is sadness and fear. And when you have worries about money or your future, it can create those feelings of dread and worry, right? If you're stressed over money or your job, or you're frequently sad or depressed and despondent, it could show up as bladder or kidney infections. Maybe you have problems urinating or bladder leakage. It can also result in ear infections and drinking to excess. And we want to find ways to quell and invite more peace into your life as a way of helping your body cope and to feel less afraid. So put your attention on the here and now and really avoid futurizing or catastrophizing, which is what happens when fear just runs amok, right? We go, oh my God, now this is going to happen and I'm going to be kicked on the street. And all that does is compound that fear and make it worse and create more worry that just compounds the fear that you're already having. So if money worries you, try your hand at maybe a side hustle like selling some unwanted items online or taking a part-time job doing something you love, like working at a gardening center or a clothing store if you enjoy fashion. Maybe it's time to ask for a promotion, or maybe it's time to cut out the pricey coffees and lunches. You know, you know where you spend your money. Give yourself a boost by wearing earrings every day and listening to beautiful music, and turn off any negative news that you might listen to. It only fuels any feelings of fear that you might have. Then start taking concrete steps so that you don't stay trapped in your fears. Remember, fear also stands for false evidence appearing real, or I like this one, and it's from AA, face everything and recover. This is a wonderful way to look at your fears and to face them. It's amazing what happens when you just absolutely face them and start taking steps rather than just staying stuck in that worry. Now let's talk about the south corner of recognition, fame, and material success. Now this relates to the heart and eyes and the feelings of joy. Maybe you aren't seeing the opportunities that you have, and maybe you're blind to your chances to advance. Or maybe you might not be following your heart's desire in your career, a relationship, or life. When the heart is affected, there can be anxiety, busy for busy's sake, and just a general lack of happiness. And problems here can result in a sense of boredom, chronic life boredom, eye problems, red eyes, eye irritations, heart palpitations, or insomnia. So do your best to look ahead and be a visionary with your job or your business and your life. If your eyes are bothering you, you might not really want to look at what's upsetting to you. And that's so important, that you look at what could be upsetting you. Eyes relate to success. Maybe you're not seeing yourself as a success. What steps would it take to help you see yourself that way? And what ways can you bring more joy into your life? Look at what you can do to change how you see yourself too, and how others see you. Go see a stylist or invest in a new wardrobe to improve your image so that you can see yourself looking more successful. I will tell you, I have gotten $100,000 worth of enjoyment out of the picture that I have of myself up on my website. What's interesting is that I've never really just said that is the best picture ever. I did have one picture that I really liked, but it was not a full face and it was a side view. But this picture I really love. And one of the things I did when I went to go see the photographer in Florida was he has a stylist and a makeup artist, and she was going to do my makeup and hair as part of the photography package, but she also had her own package to do styling for the photo shoot. And, before I would always say, no, I don't need it. I could pick out some outfits. Well, you know what? The last time I took a picture, the outfits that I picked were terrible. They looked awful. And I thought I was so chic. I was not. So I said, why not book the package? And I got the package with the stylist, and we spent a day at a beautiful store, picking out clothes and shoes and doing girl things. And I will tell you, I love the outfits that she picked out. It made me see myself in a different way. And she made me choose things that I wouldn't have chosen, it just wouldn't have occurred to me. It got me out of my box. And I love that. So, I know that it probably seems like a big splurge to go find a stylist, but a lot of great stores have them. So, check it out. I think you can definitely afford to spend a little money on yourself and spruce up your style. It's amazing what a difference it can be to you and how your outlook is and your feelings about yourself when you see yourself in a new way. All right, now let's talk about the East. This is the corner of family, health, growth, and new beginnings. And this corner relates to the feet. New beginnings, right? Taking a step. And in the feet, you might have problems with your toes, maybe cracked heels, toe fungus, you know what I mean? Problems walking, stuff like you pick up from your unclean pedicures, that kind of thing. So make sure you go to good places that you can rest assured that you're not going to come home with a fungus among us. Now, if you have problems with your feet, you can often have problems with inertia. You may find it's hard to get going, and if it's hard to get going, it's hard to get growing, right? When your feet and lower legs are bothering you, it may feel like your life is standing still or going backwards. Now, this corner also relates to the liver. Now, your liver processes everything that goes into your body. Now, if you felt frustrated, angry, or depressed, it could be a sign your liver's out of balance. And an easy way to help that liver is and that stuck feeling is exercise, like walking, avoiding fatty foods, and finish eating by 7 p.m. Really, and let me tell you, that's hard for me to do because there are times, it's like at 10 o'clock, it hits me every night. I get the crunch attack. I just want something crunchy. Anyhow, I read that's actually not a good thing for your liver, is dry, crunchy things like crackers and pretzels. Now, let's think about this. If you have a big step in your life, or you want to create a new beginning and you're avoiding it, it's so important that you look at this corner, especially when you want to start something new. Talk to a podiatrist if you've got any foot problems and help them get those resolved so you can move ahead in life. Find ways to take a step forward by taking action and getting moving in those areas of your life where you aren't making progress the way you'd like to. Let's talk about the wealth corner, the Southeast. This is our corner of wealth and assets. It's also the corner of sex. That's right. and appropriately so, this sector relates to the hips and thighs. Why am I thinking of Shakira? What is it? If you can read my thighs or look into my thighs, I don't know. It's something like that. Now let's talk about this area, because this is an area that is a source of power and strength. It's a lot like having a large amount of money in the bank, right? If your hips are hurting from sciatica or bursitis, money may weigh on your mind. And I'm talking about money, like especially assets, but it can be any money problems. But you can also suffer from anger, causing spleen or gallbladder problems. And more to the point, the kind of money that you accumulate may bother you. You may worry that you don't have enough saved, or what you have may not be enough for your future. Pain in the hips can be related to so many things, like being afraid of taking a big risk or exercising that big inner drive that you have, or your personal will. And that also includes a neglected sex life. So if you're prone to fits of drama and emotions, maybe you have low savings and investments to match it. This can manifest in problems with your hips and upper thighs and your spleen or gallbladder. So work on taking risks and connecting, saving and earning more money, and taking some really big steps in life and on your own behalf. And this is about creation here. Talk to an acupuncturist. Maybe go to a good massage therapist to help and loosen up those hips and thighs so that you aren't overly worried about money. And then set aside some money whose only job is just to grow. And you can do that. I know a lot of people I hear say, oh, I don't have enough money to save. You know what? If you've got money to go out to lunch, or you've got money to go to get a fancy coffee, you've got money to save. I know that sounds extremely frugal of me, but I still brew coffee by the pot. So what can I say? What's most important is that you ensure that you never touch this stash of cash, because having some money that's accumulating will help to rebalance some of those energies, and especially if you've got a problem with accumulating money and you got some sore legs and hips. This is going to make a big difference for you. Get some money saved and watch it increase. Try to do some investment or something like that. Even small steps will make a big difference over time. I promise you. Now let's talk about the southwest corner of romance, love, relationships, and the woman of the house. Now, when your stomach and body core bothers you, you could feel like a situation is just too much to stomach, right? Maybe you don't feel like you're really loved or appreciated, or you may find that you ruminate and worry excessively and feel trapped in a situation. Now, problems in this corner can sometimes show up as chronic fatigue or other debilitating health worries that make you feel heavy, weighted, or lethargic. You may have a tendency to overshop. Maybe you let clutter build up, or you've got hidden clutter, like everything's nice and neat until you open a drawer, right? Or open the closet door and it's like, all hell breaks loose. And in your body, this can show up in your digestive system. Maybe you have stomach bloating, abdominal pains, and these feelings can result from not feeling loved or maybe feeling rejected by love. Alternatively, a woman may be letting you down, or maybe you feel pressured to live up to an unrealistic expectation. If you are a woman, find someone or a group where you're going to be accepted and loved. Hey, come over to my Facebook group. We love you and we'd love to have you. Or disassociate yourself with those relationships where you feel unsupported or that drain your energy. Setting up some strong boundaries will also help. It's important that you find ways to strengthen your feelings of feeling loved and appreciated. It's also important that you learn to be a little bit more assertive and to ask for what you need. Now, if worry and feeling trapped is a concern, work on some goal setting and outline action steps to help you get out of the worry trap. That's one of the problems with the earth sector is it's like being buried, right, underneath a big mound of dirt, and you feel like you're just trapped underneath it. And that's what some of those feelings can come up when you have those feelings. That's associated with that earth heaviness of the southwest corner. Now let's talk about the west corner of creativity, children, projects, and endings. Now this is an area that's associated with the mouth and the lungs. And when you have tooth pains or mouth problems, you may find that you have a problem expressing yourself. The teeth can relate to stating your needs, wants, or your desires, or your individual creative expression. When a mouth problem comes up, ask if you need to express yourself or if you are expressing yourself fully. Maybe you're holding your thoughts back. Maybe you're not living up to your creative potential. Having problems with the lungs now may be due to overstress or overwhelm. There might be some kind of grief in your life, and this can come up in the form of COPD, smoking, asthma, or frequent breathing problems or infections. Now, because the west corner relates to endings, maybe there's an ending that you're putting off, like a divorce, or maybe there's an ending that you haven't gotten over. Develop your personal courage to face that ending. You can do this. Work at expressing any grief and putting a voice to it, or speaking about what's bothering you with a therapist or a good friend, or take out a journal and a pen and just write it all out. It needs to come out in some way. Grief is one of those things that we have to express. It just builds up and it starts to eat us. And nobody needs that, right? All right, now let's talk about the northwest corner. This is the corner of helpful people, mentors, the patriarch, international travel, and business. And it's also associated with the head. So if you've got migraines or sinus problems or any kinds of problem with your head, like eczema or dandruff, maybe you're not letting go of your thoughts and expressing yourself well. Maybe you feel like you're going it all alone in life. Look for a mentor who can advise you. Try to align yourself with others who can help you get ahead. Seek out influential people and ask for their assistance. If you find that you're not getting the help you need, maybe you aren't asking for the help you need, or you're lacking in perspective. So try to find some time and space to clear your head and go to a place like the mountain or the beach where you can see far distances and help release some of that tension that might be giving you headaches or skin problems. Better still, when you need helpful people in your life, hire them. Look for those people that can help you, like a personal coach who can guide you and direct you. Maybe hire a personal trainer, a stylist, or a gardener. If you want to learn yoga, you don't have to go to one of those hot and sweaty yoga studios. You can hire a yoga teacher to come straight to your house with their own little mats and help get you all set up. I think that one of the best ways you can support others is to hire them and to build your own personal team. So listen, if people aren't, breaking down your door to come in and help you, which doesn't happen for many of us. We have to go out and get help a lot of times. Sometimes people come to our aid, and here's what I feel like when people say helpful people, that people are just going to call you up and say, hey, I'd like to give you some money, or hey, I'd like to take care of your mortgage, or whatever the case may be that we're thinking helpful people should be doing for us in Feng Shui. I want you to be thinking about it this way, and that is that when you need help, the right people are there. That means that perhaps you get a referral to a great physician. That can be a helpful person. Maybe you get a referral to a fantastic client who becomes one of your favorite clients. Or you get a referral to a coach, or you get a professional referral for someone who's really going to help you. Yes, you have to pay for them, but getting the right person when you are trying to hire a lawyer, a coach, a doctor is worth everything, because you can go to a doctor that's crummy and that's no help. But if you get helpful people in your life and you have that kind of good energy, you're going to get a referral to a great doctor, a great coach, a great attorney, great accountant, great housekeeper, whatever that is. So think of it in terms of people that you also hire. I think that that's a great way to think about building your own personal team. Team Sandra, Team Terry, Team Susan, whatever the team is. You can hire your own personal team and you can create your own team of helpful people. So don't feel like hiring is cheating or anything like that, because it's not. Now let's talk about the last corner, and that's the northeast corner of good decisions, of wisdom and education. Now, this direction is associated with learning and wisdom and relates to the hands and mind. Now, when there's a problem with your hands, decisions can be hasty or rash, or maybe they just don't have thoughtful reflection. Your hands are the doing part of your body, and they're the brain's extension outside your body. This is why people with dementia or brain injury often have poor handwriting. I don't know if you've ever noticed that. It may be some of your older relatives. Maybe you notice a decline in their handwriting, and that can happen. Now, do you find yourself frequently hurting your hands, or maybe you're picking at your cuticles? That's my personal thing. Even though I work so hard on my cuticles and my manicures, maybe you even bite your nails. Now I don't do that, but I do pick at my cuticles, and I work on them so much every day, every night, and every morning. But okay, woe is me. But problems with the hands can show up with cloudy thinking, or the inability to make decisions, or the ability to make good decisions. Now, arthritis in the hands could also show up, and this can interfere with your thinking, or putting off an important decision can sometimes lead to breaking your wrist. I know that happened to me personally. There was a decision that was a really hard decision to make, and it was one of those things that I just couldn't even. I actually could not even think. When I think about it, I couldn't think of it. I couldn't even ruminate on this matter. It just it was so upsetting to me, and I found that. By putting it off and not deciding and not considering it or weighing it or thinking about it, even writing out a list of pros and cons, which I often do, my body forced it on me, and I ended up falling, and I fell straight on my wrist on a concrete slab. And then when I had my cast on, and thankfully I didn't have to have surgery or anything like that, but I had my cast on and it was painful, but it sort of diverted my attention, and I stopped thinking about how I didn't want to think about this decision, and I actually made it. And it was funny how it sort of created this diversion for me, and then I could make the decision. But you don't want to break your wrist, right? You don't want to do that. So if your mind spins frequently and you're indecisive, try something that will engage your hands, like sculpting or needlework, painting, anything that moves your hands and creates something. And I'll tell you why that's so important, because if you can do things that are sort of where you don't have to really think, you're in this creative space, and I'm gonna tell you an example of what I mean. And that is kind of like when you're in the shower and you're shampooing. You ever notice you come up with the most amazing ideas then? It's because your hands are busy, right? they're shaving your legs, they're washing your face, they're shampooing your hair, they're doing all kinds of things, and your mind can think. It's amazing how that happens. So this is why I think hobbies like sculpting or needlework or painting, anything that gets your hands moving, helps you clear space in your mind for thinking. The other thing we want to do is always to give your hands that extra care and attention to help your thought processes. So how long has it been since you've had a manicure? Being more conscientious about your hands can help your thoughts be clearer and more reflective. And those regular manicures, taking good care of your hands, dressing them up with bracelets and rings, these are really great ways to put more attention on your hands and to give them some recognition. And I really recommend wearing any kind of bracelet or rings that are red colored. This will help improve your thinking and decision making. It kind of fires up your brain a little bit. And that's why I like having them, having a red color, because this is actually associated with earth, and earth is made by fire, which is the color red. So there you go. Get some red bracelets, even those like the Kabbalah strings, the red strings. I've seen a lot of those kinds of bracelets. I've worn those from time to time, red strings, and I don't know, they seem to help. So try it on both hands. I think it's really cool. I do have to say, I did love Wonder Woman with her 2 gold cuffs on her bracelet, the bracelets that she would wear. I think those were amazing, and she was just whip smart, right? And I know you are whip smart too. All right, well, I am going to close up for the day. It is almost 5 o'clock, and I am ready to have a glass of wine. Just kind of relax a little bit and talk with Tim over our day. We got our 31st wedding anniversary tomorrow, and we're planning a menu that we're going to cook at home because there's just no going out that can beat what we make together. So we're going to be doing that, but I want to, as always, leave you with 3 tips. All right, first, when it comes to your body, tip number 1 is look at your aches and pains on a deeper, more symbolic level. Your body might be trying to tell you something through this ache and pain that really has nothing to do with that particular ache or pain. It may have something to do with a bigger thing, such as your fear or a loss like grief, something you haven't gotten over. And this is why we want to look at our aches and pains from a deeper dimension, not just a singular, oh, this hurts, let me rub in some analgesic balm and smell like a pharmacy. Okay, tip number 3, focus on your health feng shui and what your body is saying. So look for problems in your home associated with your health problem. So if you have a pain in your wrists, look and see, do you have a problem? Maybe there's a crack in the northeast corner of your home that just suddenly came up. This is one of those things that we always want to do a little bit of some feng shui detective work. Look around and look in the corners that are associated with the pains that you're having and see, is there a problem that's come up? Maybe there's a leaking faucet in the north corner. Maybe there is a tree that's up against the house and is rubbing on the siding. These are all things that you want to do a little work on, and just to ensure that there's nothing in the house that's creating this sort of ripple effect that goes to your body. It's amazing how that happens. Thanks for being with me this week on 5-Minute Feng Shui. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and if you did, I'd love it if you'd leave a review. It only takes a minute. I'll talk to you next week on 5-Minute Feng Shui.